Welcome to IELTS CELPIP MasterPrep, your trusted source for real exam-based practice tests. Every test you see here is inspired by current exam trends, and each one comes with full model solutions to help you master every section. Here's our daily schedule. IELTS tests drop every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and CLP tests every evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. No matter which exam you're preparing for, we've got you covered every single day. Are you ready for today's test? Give it your best shot and comment your score. The top 5 scorers will be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter and awards. Want your name included? Let's begin.
Part 1. You will hear a man contacting a college about admission requirements. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 10. Thank you for calling Lakewood College Admissions. My name is Karen Mitchell. How can I help you today? Hi Karen, my name is David Chen. I'm calling because I'm interested in applying to the Business Administration Diploma program for the January 2027 intake. I was hoping you could walk me through the admission requirements. Of course, David. I'd be happy to help with that. First, for the Business Administration Diploma, you'll need to have completed your Ontario Secondary School Diploma, or an equivalent credential. Do you have that? Yes, I graduated from high school here in Brampton back in 2019, so I do have my OSSD. But I should mention that I also spent 3 years working in retail management after graduation. Does work experience count for anything? That's great to hear. While work experience isn't a formal admission requirement, it can definitely strengthen your application. We actually have a prior learning assessment option, or PLA, which may allow you to receive credit for up to 2 courses based on your professional experience. You'd need to submit a portfolio for that, though. Oh, that's interesting. I'll look into the PLA option. Now, what about grades? I remember my math marks weren't the strongest. I think I got around 62% in grade 12 math. For this program, we require a minimum of 60% in grade 12 English and a minimum of 55% in grade 12 mathematics. So your 62% in math would meet the threshold. We'd also need your English mark, of course. As for other requirements, you'll need to submit 2 letters of reference, and there's a non-refundable application fee of $75. Okay, good, I'm pretty sure I got about 78 in English, so that should be fine. Now, I have a question about the application deadline. Is it too late to apply for January 2027? Not at all. The application deadline for the January 2027 intake is September 15, 2026. So you still have plenty of time. However, I'd recommend applying before August 1st if possible, because early applicants are given priority for scholarship consideration. We offer a renewable entrance scholarship worth $2,500 per year for students who apply early and maintain a GPA of 3.5 or higher. $2,500, that would really help. I'm also wondering about English language proficiency. I was born in Canada, but my wife is planning to apply too, and she moved here from South Korea about 4 years ago. Would she need to take an English test? Since you completed your secondary education in Canada, you're exempt from the language proficiency requirement. For your wife, however, she would need to demonstrate proficiency through an approved test. We accept CELPIP, IELTS, or TOEFL. For CELPIP, we require a minimum score of 7 in each section. For IELTS, it's an overall band of 6.5 with no section below 6. She can also be exempted if she's completed at least 2 years of full-time study in English at a recognized post-secondary institution. Got it. She hasn't done post-secondary here, so she'll probably go with one of the tests. One last thing, is there an orientation session or campus tour available before I apply? I'd love to see the facilities in person. Absolutely. We hold open house events on the first Saturday of every month from May through October. The next one is on May 2nd. You can register online at our website, or I can sign you up right now. Each session runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and includes a campus tour, a program information session, and a chance to meet current students and faculty. Shall I register you and your wife for the May 2nd open house? Yes, please do, sign us both up for May 2nd. Thank you so much, Karen. You've been incredibly helpful. I feel a lot more confident about the application process now. That is the end of Part 1. You now have some time to check your answers to Part 1. Part 2. You will hear a Parks Canada announcement about new national park access rules. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20. Good afternoon, and thank you for your attention. I'm Ranger Michelle Tremblay with Parks Canada, and I have an important update regarding new national park access rules taking effect on June 1, 2026. These changes have been introduced primarily to protect wildlife habitats across our park system. First, all visitors must now carry a digital park pass, which can be downloaded through our official app. Don't worry, the annual Discovery Pass price remains unchanged at around $146 for families. Now, for backcountry trails, we're limiting the maximum group size to 8 people to reduce environmental impact. Additionally, campfires are now restricted to designated fire pits only, no exceptions. We understand this may be an adjustment, but it's essential for wildfire prevention. We're also excited to announce a new shuttle bus system operating in Banff, Jasper, and Pacific Rim parks to cut vehicle congestion. As for camping, you may now reserve campsites up to 6 months in advance through our booking portal, which should help with summer planning. One critical safety reminder: if you encounter wildlife, please maintain a distance of at least 100 meters at all times. For complete details about these updates, visit the Parks Canada website at parks.canada.ca. Thank you for helping us preserve these treasures. That is the end of Part 2. You now have some time to check your answers to Part 2. Part 3. You will hear two customers and a store manager discussing a product return policy. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 30. Good afternoon. I'm Priya, the store manager. How can I help you both today? Hi, Priya. I bought this winter jacket 2 weeks ago, but the zipper broke after wearing it just once. I'd like a full refund, please. I have a similar issue, actually. I purchased a pair of snow boots last month, and the sole is already coming apart. I'm sorry to hear that. Karen, since your jacket is within our 30-day return window, and you have the receipt, a refund or exchange is no problem at all. Oh, wonderful. I'd prefer the refund back to my debit card, if that's possible. Absolutely. Now, Derek, you mentioned last month, do you recall the exact purchase date? It was about 5 weeks ago, I think. I don't have the receipt, but I paid with my credit card. We can look it up in our system using your card. However, after 30 days, our policy only allows store credit or an exchange, not a cash refund. Store credit works for me. I actually need a new toque anyway. Priya, one more thing, can I exchange for a different color instead of the refund? Of course. We just got a new shipment of that jacket in red and navy. Would you like to take a look? Navy sounds perfect. I'll go with the exchange then. And I'll grab that store credit. Thanks for sorting this out, Priya. Happy to help. I'll process both right now. Derek, your credit will be $49.99, and Karen, I'll set the navy jacket aside at the counter for you. Great, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a good day. That is the end of Part 3. You now have some time to check your answers to Part 3. Part 4. You will hear a discussion on Canada's Arctic sovereignty and northern resource development. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. Welcome back to Northern Policy Forum. Professor O'Collick, Canada's Arctic sovereignty has become a major geopolitical issue. What's driving the renewed urgency? Well, climate change has opened shipping lanes that were previously impassable. The Northwest Passage is now navigable for several months a year, and multiple nations, Russia, China, even Denmark through Greenland, are asserting their own interests in the region. Canada can no longer take its Arctic claims for granted. So how should Canada be responding to these competing claims? First, we need a permanent military and Coast Guard presence up there. But more importantly, we must invest in northern communities. Sovereignty isn't just about planting flags, it's about demonstrating that people actually live, work, and govern in these territories. Infrastructure like deep water ports and year-round roads is essential. Critics argue that resource development in the Arctic risks serious environmental damage. How do you reconcile that? That's a fair concern. The Arctic ecosystem is extraordinarily fragile. Any development must follow strict environmental assessments and, crucially, must be led by Indigenous communities who have stewarded those lands for millennia. Their consent isn't optional, it's a legal and moral requirement. What kinds of resources are we actually talking about? Enormous reserves of natural gas, rare earth minerals critical for green technology, and significant untapped oil deposits. The irony is that combating climate change requires minerals found abundantly in the Arctic: lithium, cobalt, nickel. Managed responsibly, extraction could fund the very transition we need. Looking ahead, what is the single biggest challenge Canada faces in the Arctic? Coordination. Federal, territorial, and Indigenous governments must align on a unified Arctic strategy. Without that, we'll continue reacting to other nations' moves instead of setting our own agenda. Time is not on our side. Every year the ice recedes further, and the competition intensifies. That is the end of Part 4. You now have some time to check your answers to Part 4. That is the end of the CELPIP listening test. You now have some time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.
Before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with other test takers, and subscribe so you never miss your daily IELTS and CELPIP tests. Drop your score in the comments. Your name could be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep leveling up with MasterPrep.